All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Alan Rickman. I'm the Center for Active Living Director at Athens Community Council on Aging. Glad you could join us. Really excited to have Ellen Everett here today. She's our volunteer coordinator at ACCA. We could not do what we do without volunteers, and Ellen's been a big part of that, helping us recruit and have wonderful people come and help us serve the community. So I know she's going to tell us a little bit about what we do and then how you can get involved. So Ellen, I'll pass it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And what a wonderful introduction. But she is absolutely right. Today I was calculating how many hours our volunteers have put in the past year, and it has been over 2,000 hours just for our meals program alone. So it really is the blood that keeps us pumping. The heart of ACCA is our volunteers. So being a part of that is an amazing way to give back to the community and also make some new friendships. And that's a lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about today. So our three big opportunities as we're coming back into the building, and our newly renovated building, it'll look a little different when you get here and be nice and beautiful and shiny and new. Our three big opportunities that are going to be coming up are the ACCA shop, our craft club, and Georgia Cares. So we have a brand new program director for Georgia Cares. She is amazing and is looking for more help. Right now, we've got 3 volunteers who are fantastic and been there and are looking for a little extra help. So if you are the kind of person who is really studious and likes learning lots of new information and helping people either on the phone or through web video visits or in person, this is an amazing opportunity for you. There is some state training that comes with it because Georgia Care is one of our programs that helps advise people on different Medicare plans, different Medicaid plans, and find out what's going to be the best for them and their needs. So it's a fantastic program, as I know lots of people are super confused on the whole process. I know my dad just became Medicare eligible and was freaking out about it until I told him about this program. So it's an amazing way to get some good bang for your buck too, because then you also learn all of the inside secrets of Medicare and Medicaid. So it is a fantastic program working with other volunteers. And if you are the kind of person who really likes to go out and learn all the inside secrets and all of the tricks of the trade, this is a fantastic opportunity for you. If you are more of the crafty DIY kind of people, we have 2 different opportunities. One is our ACCA shop, which is for men who are 55 and older. And it is an amazing, amazing opportunity to get crafty, get your jigsaws in and all of the other tools, hammers. I'm not a huge building person, if you can't tell, but it's a really wonderful opportunity to give back specifically to our clients. And so what the ACCA shop does is we take requests from clients like, my porch is leaning a little bit and needs some fixes, or I could really use this deck chair painted, or the leg is wobbly. So it's small repairs like that, you know, if you know a handyman, they can do it. But a lot of our clients are people who are socially isolated. So this is how we're sort of supplementing those things. I actually got a call from a woman a few days ago wanting to have one of our shopmen come out. And she said, oh, if my ex-husband couldn't fix anything, and if I had a husband now, I'd have him do it, but I don't. So I need one of your strapping young men to come out and do it. I was like, well, we will try and get some strapping young men out to you. So this is a really, really fun, hands-on, physical opportunity to get to really put your elbow grease in and help someone out, and get some wonderful sunshine. I know the summer months are coming up and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous outside, and also make some other friends of the community of men who are also interested in building and maybe can teach you an extra craft that you don't know already, or you can teach them an extra skill. We also have our craft club. So if you are more of the crafty, scrapbooky, sewing kind of person, which I totally am, this is a great opportunity. So a lot of our clients are dealing with nerve damage, dementia, those sorts of things that keep you chair-bound or bed-bound. And so one of the key things that we have identified as a need are activity blankets. And so these are really simple sort of mats that you lay across someone's lap, and they've got things like zippers and buttons and shoelace ties on them to help those fine motor skills and get people thinking and problem solving in a way that's really easy and accessible. So we are trying to get people into this crafting club, to have some fellowship, have some peer tutelage, and how to make these really awesome tools, essentially, for cognitive development, for older adults and people with disabilities. So they are beautiful. We've had people submit ones that are like these gorgeous quilts. We've also had people submit them that are felt and have lots of little knick-knacky things on them that are super cute. And they're really easy to make, and it's a fantastic way. If you are not the hard craft kind of person, but a sewer or a quilter, or just someone who's interested in learning that kind of thing, to give back to people who really need it and are some of the more forgotten clients that volunteers don't normally get to serve.
Those are very cool. I didn't even know we were doing that.
Yeah, they're super brand new programs that we're adding now that we're coming back from COVID. So we're really excited to get started with those.
Those are great initiatives.
We're so excited.
Tell me, I'm thinking about speaking of COVID, can you talk a little bit about the volunteers that stepped up to the plate during COVID and what they did and how amazing and how surprising it was to see that?
Yeah, absolutely. So of course, at the beginning of all of this, nobody knew how long it was going to be, how intense it was going to be. And so there were so many twists and turns of this whole process of getting to where we are now. And a ton of our meals volunteers stepped up right at the beginning and said, I know it is a tricky time and I know it is a scary time, but I want to serve. So I'm probably going to embarrass them and give them a shout out, but like the Fenardys have been one of our most amazing RSVP volunteers. And they immediately stepped up to the plate, kept their route going, dealt with all those changes, and also added on our distributions and led our Whitehead Elementary distribution every single Friday. So it has been so amazing to have our volunteers and our RSVP volunteers, which is the retired or senior volunteer program, have been absolutely leading that charge of the very people that were told, you know, you need to shelter at home. We're able to be like, no, I want to be helping, and lend that hand and make sure everyone in the community, our most vulnerable people, are protected and served. So it has been absolutely fantastic. And that's the kind of people you'll be working with if you decide to volunteer through the RSVP program. It is those very, very, very dedicated and enthusiastic and service-minded people who create this amazing community, and are part of those, 2,000 hours and 10,378 people that we ended up serving. It is mind-boggling, the amount that our Athens ACCA volunteers stepped up during this time. And if I talk about it anymore, I'm going to start crying because it is so touching.
And so inspiring.
It's so inspiring, and really it was our older adult volunteers who were absolutely leading that charge, absolutely telling us, this is where there are needs, this is what people need. So it has been on the staff side an incredible experience, and I know for our volunteers it has been so touching and meaningful to get to serve even more people than they were already.
What are some of the things that they've said, like feedback they've given you from the experience?
Yeah, a lot of people, I think, didn't realize how widespread these issues were. And I think none of us really did until COVID hit. And then all of a sudden it was, these supports that had been taken for granted were suddenly gone. Like so many of our existing clients who had been getting served by other places, whether that's through meals or social interaction, all of a sudden that was just completely gone. And we decided to step in and fill those gaps. And so there were so many times that people would come up to me and be like, I served my neighbor today, or I served someone who went to my church, and I didn't even realize that, they had been relying on all of these things that suddenly overnight disappeared. So it really has been a big lesson, I think, for everyone. There's so much that we take for granted, and so many people who we don't realize are being served in ways that we can't see. And so when those go away, or when those change, it is so imperative to step in, and they have above and beyond stepped in.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point about COVID sort of making things visible that were invisible.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Seeing how it's all working, and it's so gratifying that people can step in and fill those gaps and become closer with their neighbors and see each other in a new way, and a new appreciation for one another.
Absolutely. And anytime someone's out of town, or a driver's out of town, or their car breaks down or something, they always send me an email, and they're like, make sure to tell Mary that I miss her and I'll be there next week, and to not worry. And so it's real friendships that people build with their clients. And, you know, we'll get calls from clients be like, I didn't see my pretty young girl come to see me today. Is she still driving?
Aww.
Yes, they're still driving. They just had a cold today. So
how nice to be missed.
Yeah, exactly. And so our volunteers definitely are very, very well loved, both by staff and especially by clients.
Absolutely. So now, you know, going forward, as we're reopening and things are sort of returning to normal, as we put in quotes,
Yeah.
In addition to these wonderful new initiatives that you're doing, the shop and other, what other avenues are there for people to volunteer with ACCA and the different ways and programs?
Awesome. Yeah. So we always have our Meals on Wheels program, which is super self-explanatory. We have meals, we take them on wheels to clients' houses. But it really is more than a meal. You're checking in on people, you're seeing how they're doing, you're letting them know that someone is there for them. So that is one of our biggest heartfelt opportunities, I think. We also have our fantastic Center for Active Living, which if you are a line dancer especially, let us know. We're always
or arts and crafts teacher. We're looking always for arts and crafts to help, and definitely aligns that there. So yeah, contact
exactly. Yeah, and we're opening our garden now. So if you are a person with a super green thumb, let us know. We have tons and tons of stuff that we're planning that's all new. And our garden has been neglected for a year, at least by the general public. So we're really looking for people who have that initiative and want to make it a fantastic, flourishing place. We've also got our long-term care ombudsman program, where if you like visiting new people, going into nursing homes or long-term care facilities, and really developing deep friendships with people and making sure that they're okay, it's a great program to get involved in. And I always say, if you want to volunteer, if you want to help in your community, we can find a way to make that happen. There's always, always, always someone who needs help, and you, I promise, have a specific skill set that you can use to help them. Whether that is you are a super chatty person on the phone and you want to get in contact with someone who is socially isolated or homebound, we can find you a person for that. If you have a ton of extra fans or heaters, or know someone who has those, that's a great way to help out people who are meals clients who may be living without heat or cooling. If that is, if that is your drive, and if that is something you want to do, I promise you, you can email me, you can call me, you can look at our website, and there's going to be something there that you're like, I can do this, and this is how I want to give back.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point too, that people may have skill sets or ideas that we haven't even thought of. So
yeah,
we encourage anyone to call and just say, hey, do you need a volunteer for this or whatever? You know, you can do on our website. But yeah, there's just so many ways to get involved. Just some technical questions that people might have. What's the time commitment? It can be a day, it can be a month, or whatever. And then what's required to become a volunteer?
Sure. So our time commitments really vary over our programs. Meals on Wheels is about 2 hours once a week for a route. We're sort of restructuring how those routes look, so it might be a little different than if you've done a ride-along before, but we will definitely keep everyone updated on that. If you're in something like Georgia Cares, it's usually a little bit more intensive. There's more of an onboarding process because you're doing all of these state-mandated, like, here's how you learn about Medicare courses. there are so many different, it really is just so variable on the time commitments, but those are all on our website that you can see under our volunteer tab. We lay out all of that information right there. And for registering, it's super, super streamlined. All you need to do is go on our website under the volunteer enrollment tab. There is a short registration form that just asks basic things like, what do you want to volunteer as? What's your information? How do we get in contact with you? And then there's a background check form. And if you are an RSVP member, or if you choose to become an RSVP member, we waive the cost of all of your processing. So I think normally it is $35 for background check, and that is completely covered by our RSVP grant if you decide to volunteer through that. So if you want to save yourself a lot of money, it's a really easy way to do that and also help out ACCA at the same time.
Okay.
And then once you do that, I'll get in contact with you and we'll talk about those opportunities and those time commitments, and then we'll send you on the way.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah, it's you walk people through the process. It's not too hard.
Oh.
You know, people come one time, they can come every week, they could come once a month. It's really, you know, we have big groups come, we have one person come. It really looks lots of different ways. So and I neglected to say at the beginning of this talk that it's National Volunteer Week.
Yes.
Today's the last day.
Yeah.
About that initiative it's a national week, but you know, how are we celebrating our wonderful volunteers this week?
Yeah, so we've been sending out cards to all of our volunteers. We've also been doing little goodie bags when they get here. If you've come by and gotten a box of Girl Scout cookies or a bag of candy, that's definitely meant for you. And we also, you know, my biggest belief is that the thing that people most want to hear in the world is thank you, because we all want to be seen. And so every single day, just saying thank you, and our staff does an amazing job of this, is thanking every single volunteer who comes in, because they don't have to, especially in a year that has been as chaotic as this one, as unsure as this one. Someone taking time out of their day to help someone else is a very special thing, and we truly understand and appreciate that. And so, you know, every day we say thank you so much to our volunteers, but especially this week, as it's our last week of Athens Eats Together too, which has been a huge part of this year and a huge part of how we have given back to the community when they needed us most. So it has been a fantastic experience, and it's sort of poetic to me that they're both happening at the same time, as this huge volunteer-led effort is culminating in a week of just saying thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do.
Well said. Perfect. Nancy, do you have a question? Or Ellen, is there anything else you want to add? Nancy?
I just turned my video or my mic back on. Wow, this is a lot of information. Some of it I knew about. I'm glad to know there's a website. The one thing that I don't drive around much anymore, and I'm not as strong as I used to be, so I can't do everything. But how do I find out about the activity blankets? Is there information on the volunteer website, or how do you contact where? Is that something I could do at home if I was interested in it?
Absolutely. So that is one of our virtual / at-home activities that people can do to volunteer. There is a little blurb about it on our website. There's also, if you want to ask more questions about any of our opportunities, go on that volunteer tab, scroll down, and there is a big in bold says, I want to ask a question. And it has, what's your name? What's your contact information? And then a block where you can type out anything. Just submit that, and that immediately goes to me, and I'll either write you back or give you a call.
And does that need a background check?
The craft club does need a background check. We background check all of our volunteers just to make sure, but it's a really easy process that I can walk anyone through, and we can do it over the phone or over email or even over Zoom.
Okay, good. Those were my questions. I did try to take notes here, so I've got written down a lot of what you've talked about. I will put it in my think bank. We'll see what I choose to do.
Mm.
Thank you so much. You're very enthusiastic, and it's all wonderful. It's just really important to the community, and I've always supported ACCA because of that, and enjoyed the activities, which are slowly coming back. We'll see how much I can get to now. So thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Nancy. Yeah, Ellen, and thank you so much. Your enthusiasm and passion for this, and you have so many superpowers in this department of just literally coordinating an army of people throughout the year, and we couldn't do it without you either. So thanks for helping volunteers shine and give back, and that's a really important position you're in. So thank you for for all you do for us. So any other final closing thoughts? Anything else? I think we've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, and I guess the only thing I'll say is that it's very easy to be enthusiastic when you have as great volunteers as we do. And so if you are interested in getting in touch with any volunteers, making those friendships with volunteers or clients, give me a shout.
Perfect. Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much, Ellen, for imparting all this for us and getting some folks excited to volunteer. And
Of course.
yeah, and thanks, Nancy, for joining us too.
Sure, glad to. I'm glad I could be here. Thank you.
Great. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.